Welcome to the Inner Flame podcast where stardust meets the body. I have a cool story about that. My grandfather was like one of my people when he was alive, and he had passed, and it was really hard. And I remember saying, I need a sign. I just need to know that you're still with me. And we were going to see the new Star Wars movie, Rogue One, and my one of my signs with him was a red balloon, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to see a red balloon in Star Wars. But I was like, how am I going to get a sign from him that I'm going to like know is him? And his one of his favorite songs was Stardust. Like, I think we actually danced to that at my wedding. Um, anyway, I digress. I'm in the movie, and in the movie, the daughter, the main character, her dad, her nickname was Stardust. And I just started bawling. I was like, oh my God. So, Stardust is all around us, right? We're made of stardust, it's everywhere. Um, and it's how we take all of that and ground it into the body, which is like, I believe, my big purpose. How do I take what I'm channeling and like ground it into existence, right? So let's get into it. This is the week of April. What is it? April 13th to the 19th. April 13th to the 19th. I drew these cards yesterday, and I'm glad I did because I felt like there was one card in particular that I really needed to let settle for me to get more of what it was trying to say. And that's what I love so much about what I do is I could really just like read this card for what it is, but when you're reading energy, you really are tapping into the subtle energies, right? The subtle things that might not be like right in your face. So I took some time to write some of the things down because I did not want to forget all of it. So let's get into it. What's really beautiful is we're starting the week off with a card that I actually pulled when I was channeling Gerald. And this card is like the child of the cosmos. So this is saying to us that the intelligence of the universe lives within us, right? It exists within us. And I think that's like a really big concept. And you're going to notice how like there are very big, right? We're going to look at this in a very macro way, but we're also going to try to bring it down to a very micro way. How are you going to maybe see these play out in your existence while also being aware of how this can play out in the macro or your bigger experience? So, this is such a big one, and I feel like this is pretty pivotal for the time that we're in right now. This to me is saying that more people are going to be tapping into their intuition, their inner wisdom, understanding that we are literally stardust, right? That we are not separate from the outer experience. And that goes beyond just our reality, right? That's space, that's different galaxies, that's everything that's ever been created. And in your own life, you might feel like these subtle things where it's like, oh, I feel like I got a download, or I feel like this is my intuition, or I'm feeling something that I've not felt before, or this is information that I just know to be true, right? These subtleties might start kind of showing up in your experience. This could also show up in a way where you are being maybe asked to share the information that you've gathered through your experience. This could be life experience, this could be work experience, right? Like the knowledge that you carry from over time, right? This isn't just like, oh, I learned this yesterday. This is like kind of who you are embodying today. This is really reminding us that this is happening from a place of love. So the more information that we're getting, right, the more intuition is tapping on. This is like really a frequency of love that might be new to some of us, might feel exhilarating, it might feel euphoric, it might feel very nurturing. But this is also reminding us that when we are going to share this inner wisdom, to do so from a place of love and compassion. With that being said, we are in Aries, and this is very fiery energy, and I can feel that paradox, right? I can feel the paradox of being like, I just want you to listen to me, and this is what I have to say, and this is all the information that I have to give you. But it's like, okay, how, this is kind of maybe reminding us in our individual experience, like, okay, how can I say this in a loving way or in a place of compassion while speaking my truth, right? And this is the beautiful thing, is like, we've got this big, massive energy, the energy of the cosmos. And how do we take that and ground it in? And it's like really reminding us to come from a place of love. And this is not coming from like everything has to be perfect. This is just reminding you, sometimes we have to say things in an assertive way with love, right? But there's a difference between being on fire and being assertive from love. Like sometimes people need to hear the truth, but you don't have to be a dick about it. They might receive it as you being a dick, but you're not, you're being assertive. You're saying truth, right? But this is saying, I feel like there's a softening here, okay? And I feel like this is also like people are being turned on in the fact of being able to speak their truth, maybe having more energy behind them to speak their truth. So I think this is really, really big, but it's also reminding us to soften, maybe have that compassion. There's something else that wants to come through here. And I'm going to look at the book because maybe there's a message that I'm not picking up on, because I feel like there's something else. Okay. Okay, I feel like this might also have a wound, okay? So this is like saying, this card asks you to realize that deep down people truly do care about you and want you to succeed. And while that is there, I feel like there's this wound that might be surfacing. If I speak my truth, I won't be loved. If I speak my truth, they won't receive it as love. If I speak my truth, I will be cast out, right? And it's again like that heretic energy. There is something much bigger going on here that is, whether you want to believe it or not, right? Like we are starting to, humanity is starting to understand, they are waking up to, I should say we, because I'm that. We are waking up to the fact that we can create our reality. And I think that's what this bigness is also trying to say, is that you're just now going to be tapping into your abilities, your alchemization powers, your powers for manifestation as humans. But there might be things that come up that feel like it's not safe for us to do so, right? Especially speaking those things. And this is such a beautiful message. So it's like being mindful of the energy of the fire and this movement, this I want to say sometimes it can feel really out of control. It can be really quick to react, right? Like fire is sometimes known to be quick, like fierce. And there's a difference in fierce of aggression and fierce from like embodiment. So I feel like this is trying to remind us that the path of embodiment of the cosmos, of the bigness of our reality, is a tough journey, but do so with love and compassion, but speak your truth. So you're going to see this maybe come up in different ways in your micro, which is, I feel like I'm supposed to give some advice on the wisdom that I carried throughout my job, right? My career, but I'm feeling like I don't know how without hurting somebody's feelings. And this is reminding you to have the confidence to speak your truth, but do so from a place of love. How can you get into the energies where you feel like you can respond from a place of love. I hope that makes sense. Okay? And from the bigness of it, it's again like reminding you your intuition's going to be tapping on. You might feel this in different ways. This could trigger some wounds in you where it feels like it's not safe to speak. It's not safe to speak about your intuition. It's not safe to speak. You know what? I really, something's telling me that that's not the way we should go, right? Because especially, I don't want to say especially, but at least in my experience, intuition doesn't always have a place in corporate. Like, so if you're still in the corporate world, it's like, ooh, how do I balance my intuition on something, and is it safe for me to speak? And this is reminding you, yes, but can you do it from a place of love? Is this coming from a place of fear, or is this coming from a place of love? Okay. So I hope you can grasp like the bigness of that, like how we're seeing that, like humanity is going through a really big upgrade, but also how you might see that in your everyday reality. So by the middle of the week, we have this reminder that like something is not ready yet. And this is really interesting because again, we've got this fire energy, the paradox of like, it's go time, take the bull by the horns, but there's also got to be flow because otherwise we're going to be trampled. This is primarily around our health, and how I'm seeing this is with self-care. Last week, we really started, I'm going to take a break, sip my water. Last week, we saw this energy around cellular repair and like deep healing and bringing up emotions that we thought we healed. This is saying, again, with the bigness of the cosmos, there's a lot of energy coming into humanity right now. And this is basically asking us to integrate it and to be patient with that integration, okay? This health card, again, there might be triggers in the pain body. There might be symptoms, headaches, dizziness, feeling lethargic, feeling excited, literal pains in the body. Again, it's reminding us like see through the situation, like don't just think there's something wrong, but understand maybe there's like an integration process going on, that there are things shifting in your field that you can't even see right now, and the subtleties might be so subtle you can't even name them. So this is reminding you that something isn't ready yet. This also, like in your everyday life, it's like it feels like there's a project or a vision or a dream that you have and it's over here. And this is saying you're trying to get there, but it's not ready yet. Like something isn't ready yet for you to actually get to that point. You're at A and you want to get to B, but it's almost like we've got to slow it down. We're not there yet. And this also feels like your body does not have the capacity to actually be at that point yet. Okay? Now I want you to think about like, what do you mean? Like let's just put it very simply. If you are at work and you're like, I've been trying to get a raise and the raise isn't happening, or I've been wanting a promotion and the promotion isn't happening. There's this pause here because it feels like something's not ready yet. You aren't ready to hold the capacity that you need for that position. Okay, so that I hope might bring you like a little bit of rest and pause, because this is saying, oh, wow, okay, this is like, I'm being asked to get my energetics here, like be aware of the energetics, but also what do I need to do to help myself get to that point? That's capacity. That's nervous system care. That's understanding that your energetics over here are not going to be the same as what they need to be over here. You need to hold more energy at this point. So it's like building the body and letting it go through its process to be able to do that. Health is health care. It's self-care. It's nervous system care. What do you have in your everyday life? And I feel like this is a big one for us. as humans, when things are going good, we just keep going. It's not until things get bad where we're like, oh, I need to slow down and involve this in my everyday life. But then when things get going good again, those things kind of fall off. And this is like really reminding us to, like, the self-care needs to be every single day, like a real integration of our life. We have sunshine. This is going to be through sunshine. Now, what's really interesting here is that that isn't just what that is, but it also is. This is reminding you to get outside, that to let the sun literally heal the body. This is also reminding us that the cellular process that we were going through last week needs integration, and there is not a better way. This is what I'm getting right now. There is not a better way than to allow yourself to receive vitamin D naturally from the sun to help your cells repair. But this also has to do with consciousness, life force, clarity, knowledge, the yang in the yin and yang. Yang is like movement, right? It's strength and activity. It is the movement forward. And this is also reminding us to become our own light. So this to me is saying to become your own light, to get to that capacity of where you want to be, that dream, that vision that you hold. How can you nurture and nourish in an everyday form to remind yourself that, right? To up your life force, to engage in your consciousness, to find the clarity and the knowledge, to move forward, right? That yang energy. And remember that you are your own light. You are the one, I think we talked about this last week, where it's like, it's not external. This is internal. This is an internal job, okay? Woo! You feeling it? I mean, I'm feeling it. I feel like this one's pretty big this week. Okay. What's crazy is that there's such big energies this week, like really expansive energies. And it's really like, how do we take that expansive energy and ground it in? What does nervous system care look like? What does self-care look like? And I don't mean like self-care as in like, I'm going to go get my hair done or I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm talking about being aware of your electrical charge in the body. If there's too much, what does that look like? Anxiety, agitation, frustration, discharge it. What are ways to discharge it? Go outside and ground yourself, literally bare feet on the ground. Also, nervous system practices, shake it out. Like literally shake your body out for 5 minutes. That's discharging energy. And nervous system care practices, which I will be sharing more of this week, because I feel like this week is actually going to be a big one for capacity building, okay? So by the end of the week, we are really, I think a lot of other people are going to be turned on to understanding there is a new paradigm coming. And I think a lot of people live in fear right now about this. This is happening, and it's reminding us to hold the vision. If you are listening to this, then you are probably aware or have hope or energy towards something better for our future. And if you have a lot of fear, that's not what I channel from. I do not channel from fear. I channel from these amazing energies that, and I mean, remember fear, false evidence appearing real. So just saying, we are seeing, and I will say that, we are seeing this new paradigm coming online. What's going to help with this? What's going to help this new paradigm come into reality is through our expression. And that seems to be very big this month because it is a claiming of who we are. If you haven't listened to was it the first one or the second podcast about expression, claiming your heretic. I also have a Medusa article on Substack, which was great, talking about claiming your heretic. Your heretic is your soul's path. I keep hitting my microphone. And And this is really what we're being asked to do. We are being asked to claim this version of ourselves, right? This expression of who we really are without all the added crap of who we think we have to be and who everybody wants us to be, but really who we are and what that path looks like. This is not a time to stop. This is not a time. This energy is asking us to keep going, right? And I think what's also very interesting here is like this is looking for capacity building, which is exactly like the healthcare, the self-care. It's looking for you to build so you can keep going and keep going and keep going. There might be things that come up this week where it's like, oh man, that really feels hard, or I feel like a failure, or I don't know how I'm supposed to do this and I feel like I'm never going to get it. This is, let's pivot the energy here. Failures are stepping stones. It is only a failure if you deem it to be so. A stepping stone is, okay, I slipped and fell off, but I know I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep stepping up, right? The other thing that I'm getting right now is that most of us are really looking at what is being shown to us. And what is being shown to us is a chaotic world that looks like it's going to be crumbling. And I will say the world is crumbling because this is a demolition time. This is where the old paradigm has to fall apart for a new foundation to be built. And that can be very uncomfortable and it can feel very scary. This is saying, have hope, keep holding the vision. There is absolutely something better coming, but it is your job to also actively engage in that process, right? When I channel, it's so much about sovereignty and responsibility and how we create our own reality. So this is like reminding us, you have a job and you have a purpose beyond what you think through expression. Your expression is to make life beautiful through your lens, right? And that is going to help birth this new beautiful earth. And I think that's something that is really big. So it's like, well, how can I do that? Focus on what brings you joy. At least once a day, have a gratitude journal, right? That feels like it's taking this bigness and anchoring it. Okay, how do I find that in my everyday life? Okay, how do I get one step closer to my heretic path and how that feels? There will be reflections in my Substack. So if you're subscribed to my Substack, you can always go in and do these reflections that help you kind of navigate these energies and get truth to what's coming up for you. So we've got a lot of big energy this week, but it is like, how can we ground that out? How can we be mindful? And how can we embody that in our everyday lives? Because this feels very expansive, and expansiveness is absolutely beautiful, but it can get feel overwhelming. So just be mindful of this energy. And this feels like a very, this feels like a beautiful week for self-care. It feels like a beautiful week for where can I speak my truth in a loving way? And how can I really nourish what my body needs? And how can I hold the vision for something far greater and bigger than what I think they're trying to tell me is what's going to happen? And that feels really good to me. So I hope everyone has a beautiful week. There will be more that comes and lands for me, so be sure to follow me on Substack or Instagram, where I can share even more throughout the week. And I will also share some body or somatic practices to help build nervous system. So I hope you have a wonderful week.